You ever see something so wrong, so nakedly cruel, it makes your skin buzz like you just put your hand on a live wire and you got to decide right then, are you going to stand up or just watch? That's the day I saw Alma Watkins, sitting quiet as stone on those courthouse steps in Brenton, hands folded over a faded photo of her son, a pastor, young and proud, in cuffs back in '65 while Sheriff Rick Allen, badge gleaming like it meant something, strutted up and poured a whole bottle of water over her silver hair, muttering outdated symbols need to be washed away. He walked off like she was less than nothing, and I swear the air changed right then, like the storm had already started. It was one of those days when the heat clings to your shirt, and you can feel the tension buzzing just under the bricks. Alma's skirt fluttered in the breeze, but she didn't move, didn't even blink when Allen's boots stopped in her shadow. He kicked her chair, not hard, just petty, a kind of disrespect you can't legislate but everybody sees. Waiting on a ticket back to the good old days, ma'am, he sneered, not looking her in the eyes, like her silence was a mess he needed to clean up. She just looked up at him slow, steady, her voice ringing out calm as a church bell. I'm waiting for a courtroom with justice inside it. No drama, no begging, just a sentence packed with more years than Allen had lived. That's the thing about people like Alma. Their stillness isn't surrender, it's history simmering just below the skin. Allen called her in as a possible agitator, made sure the words stung, like naming her a threat could turn silence into crime. She never moved her hands from that photo. The courthouse loomed behind her, every brick holding decades of decisions, some good, most forgotten. He didn't like her silence, didn't like how she didn't play along. Power like his, it gets itchy when no one jumps. You know what happens to people who think the law is poetry? Allen said, leaning in, real close, voice slow and sticky. They get run over by the ones who know it's just a hammer. And I swing it. He wanted her to flinch, to break. She looked past him, through him like he wasn't even blocking the sun. That made him mad. He snapped the cuffs on her wrists, jerked her up so fast her photo slipped to the steps, fluttering down like a lost feather. Even then she didn't cry out, just stood, shoulders squared, handcuffs looking more like medals than shackles. Allen stuffed her in the patrol car, slammed the door. Inside, the heat pressed in, but Alma just smoothed her skirt, keeping dignity in a place built to strip it. Driving to the station, Allen tried to needle her. Every time one of you old black ladies sits somewhere you don't belong, you just piss off the young ones more. He spat the words out, but Alma turned, steady as a mountain, and said, they're angry because men like you keep pretending you're the law instead of just wearing its costume. The car lurched as Allen jerked the wheel, stung by her accuracy. At the station, he paraded her in through the back, rough and fast, past officers who looked down, nobody willing to meet her eyes, nobody daring to question why this tiny old woman needed to be treated like a riot. Allen shoved her into a cell, sarcasm dripping. Maybe we'll bring in a choir, recreate the old days for you. She just looked at him, low and cutting. This isn't about me being comfortable. It's about you needing to feel taller. He had no comeback for that, so he just shoved harder. She waited in that cell, posture straight, eyes unbowed. Allen circled her, baton tapping his palm, tried to intimidate with noise and shadow. You think wrinkles buy you respect? He hissed. I don't kneel for ghosts. She never blinked. He tried again. Your kind made this town soft. You want respect? Earn it, stand up without history as a crutch. Her silence mocked him. His words slid off her, powerless. Allen lost it, slammed the baton on the table, voice cracking, you got nothing to say now? She finally answered, soft but sharp, I've said what needed saying. You just can't hear over the sound of your fear. And for a moment, you could see the mask slipe a man, raised on power, realizing control ain't the same as respect. That's when Allen pulled out a water bottle. He twisted the cap, stepped close, almost gentle, then started pouring it slow over Alma's head. You thirsty? Or do you only drink from fire hydrants when there's a protest on Main? The water trickled through her hair, down her back, pooling on the floor, every drop an insult meant to erase not just dignity, but memory itself. Still, she didn't flinch. When she finally opened her eyes, They weren't angry, they were ocean calm, old and deep, and Alan turned away, shaken, the room suddenly too small for his cruelty. But here's where the twist hid a twist Alan never saw coming. In a dark room, watching the surveillance feed, a man sat straight as a Blade Samuel Watkins, Alma's son, the DOJ's deep cover agent, known in the department as Larry Peters, technical consultant. He watched his mother endure every drop, every humiliation, without moving a muscle. Samuel pressed a button quiet, surgical, and the whole ugly mess streamed straight to federal servers, time-stamped, evidence locked down. For years, he'd waited for a moment like this, not for revenge, but to catch the system red-handed. Within an hour, unmarked black SUVs rolled into the courthouse lot, no sirens, no shouting, just presence. 12 federal agents, not there to negotiate, moving in diamond formation like history's own reckoning. Alan puffed up, tried to protest, but the agent just showed the warrant, effective immediately. This facility is under federal observation. The illusion of control collapsed. Alan was no longer sheriff, just a man about to learn what real power looks like. They uncuffed Alma, guided her out gentle, as if she were family, not a detainee. She didn't look at Alan, there was nothing left to see. Samuel met Alan in the hall, badge now visible, and said, voice cutting through the last threads of Alan's authority, I'm the son of the woman you tried to humiliate. Alan, desperate, growled, who gave you the right? Samuel's reply was cold steel, the Constitution, and the blood my mother didn't let stain this floor. Alan tried one last time to twist the story. You think this makes you a hero? But Samuel just stared him down. Heroes save lives. I'm here to remember the ones you thought didn't matter. Alan's badge was stripped, his gun sealed away, his name deleted from every database, every plaque, every history book worth reading. Not with drama, just precision, a quiet erasure. And outside, the world was watching. The clip went viral in Horse's silent video of a sheriff pouring water on a woman who didn't even blink. No hashtags, no commentary, just dignity refusing to break. Justice, usually so slow, roared in on the back of a 47-second video. Alma's image, hair wet, eyes unbroken, became a mural, a headline, a sermon, a compass for a country desperate for one true thing. Alan wasn't Gillet, was forgotten, erased not by rage, but by a collective will that said, we don't need your kind of order anymore. Alma sat again on the courthouse steps, this time reading poetry to a circle of children, the stains on her sweater now a badge of honor, her silence louder than any speech. They called a reckoning, but really it was just the country remembering what dignity looks like and what it can survive. Now, I gotta ask, after everything you just heard, tell me, does real power come from a badge or from the blood that raised it? Who really writes history, the ones with the loudest voices or the ones who refuse to break, even when the world's watching? Drop your thoughts below. Where does justice live in your town?